In the last couple of years, I've met a lot of people in the trading industry, and unfortunately, a lot of these people will never succeed in this field. And the reason why is because trading is hard and mistakes can cost you a lot of money. Now, when you look at social media, you will often see people talking about different points that you need to have in order to succeed in trading. And I'm also part of this because I will often share with you guys different ways of how you can improve your trading and get better results. But what I think is important is to not only focus on what you have to do, but also focus on the mistakes that you need to avoid doing in order to stay focused and to eventually achieve the goals that you have. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys 7 different mistakes that you absolutely need to avoid. And if you don't, you will, as I said, probably never succeed in this industry. So it's really important to listen all the way until the end of the video so that you are aware of these things. And if you are able to remove them, it's going to be a lot easier, and the probabilities of you becoming a successful trader are very, very high from this point. The first mistake that you can make is to not follow a trading system and to not have rules put in place. Now, this is a big one because a lot of people, unfortunately, will go on the markets and they will trade a bit randomly. So they will take a bunch of different trades for different reasons, different kinds of analysis. And the problem here is that it's not going to be consistent, right? It's going to be all over the place, and you will get massive ups and downs within your trading account, and it's going to be very hard to manage emotionally. So what you have to do is to actually figure out a system and to have rules within this system that will allow you to actually always take the same kinds of trades. And that's how you will optimize the results, because all of a sudden it's going to become a lot more consistent. It's going to be easier as well to manage, and over time you will get better by doing this. Now, the second mistake is to simply take too much risk, okay? And taking too much risk doesn't make any sense mathematically and emotionally. So let me explain to you guys what I mean by this. So in terms of mathematics, right? If you take a lot of risk, let's say you risk 5% or even 10% per trade, right? Well, if you lose a few trades in a row, which is very possible, okay? Every trader will eventually go through one of these phases, right? If you lose a few different trades in a row, and if you have a lot of risk on these trades, you could be in a 30, 40, and even 50% drawdown on your account. So if you start with $1,000, you would be at 500. And the problem here is that from this 500 all the way back to $1,000, it's not 50% that you need to make. You need to make 100% to go back to $1,000, right? And so the problem is that the bigger the drawdown is, the harder it is to actually come back of it. And so this will literally block people and potentially stop them from trading totally, right? I've heard so many different stories of people starting to trade with X amount of money, losing it all, and then quitting, right? And all of this could have been avoided if the person simply knew how to manage the risk and not put too much on their trades, okay? And for me, a good risk management is anywhere between 1 to 3% risk per trade, okay? 3% would be in the case that you are a bit more aggressive and that you want to grow your account faster, and 1% would be the case that you are more a conservative person, okay? But anywhere in this mathematically makes sense, and emotionally as well, it will be a lot easier to manage, and you will not have trouble sleeping at night. If you cannot fall asleep, then you are risking too much money, okay? So it's really important to understand that you need to lower the risk. It's always better to use a low risk versus a very high risk, okay? It's not going to help you because, as I said, you will lack consistency and you are at risk of literally just blowing everything and never being able to come back from this, right? So always manage your risk effectively and keep a tight risk management. Now, the third point, and that is also a pretty big one, is that you don't trade like a hedge fund, okay? And let me explain you guys what I mean by this, right? Now, I've been very lucky myself to have different mentors in my journey, and some of them actually did work or are still working today at different hedge funds or different investment banks. So I've been in these places. I've been at RBC, at the trading floor here in Montreal. We went to different hedge funds and stuff like that. So I've literally and physically been in these places and see how these people trade and how they work on the markets, okay? And what I've realized is that there are a lot of differences between how a hedge fund will operate and how most retail traders will work. And so what you have to understand is that this difference, and there are many of them, it will make a big difference as well in their trading results, because the hedge funds are the institutions who make most of the money on the markets, right? They are the ones who really make a lot of profit. Whereas if you look at most of the retail traders, so people who trade at home, well, most of them are not really good and they just don't make money, right? And so if you want to become successful in this industry, you will need to trade and to work like the professionals, right? So you will need to act like a hedge funds. And so there are multiple different things that are included in working like a hedge fund and not like a retail trader. I could make a whole video separated on this topic because I think it's really, really important. And by the way, guys, if you want to see this other video, put it in the comment section down below, and also leave a like on the video. I didn't mention it at the beginning, right? But if you want to see another video where I break down exactly how to trade like a hedge fund and how to distance yourself from the average retail trader that don't make money, then leave a like, as I said on the video, and I will record another one that will explain you guys these points. So to come back on the topic, right? As I said, you need to trade like a hedge fund. And just to give you guys, for example, one of the differences, right? So that you understand really what I mean by this. For example, within a hedge fund, right? They will mostly focus on fundamentals. They will also look at the technicals, right? So looking at the chart and doing their analysis on the chart in itself. But the main focus is really on fundamentals. And when you look at retail traders, 99% of the time, it's the total opposite. So they will mostly focus on technical analysis only, and this is something that will block a lot of people from achieving their full potential, because just looking at the chart alone is not really something that professionals will do. And so it's actually going to block you from getting the consistent results that you want. Now, the fourth thing that you need to avoid is to simply lack discipline, okay? What you have to understand is that being disciplined in your trading, but also in different areas in your life, this is what will bring consistency, and consistency will bring results, okay? And so if you lack a discipline, whether it's in your trading directly or in your personal life, it's going to literally stop you from growing, okay? And the thing is that the habits that you have within your own personal life will be reflected within your trading, and they will influence it probably a lot more than what you realize, okay? So if you really want to become successful in this, you will need to optimize your personal life as well. And so what that means is that you will have to, eat the right type of food, to sleep enough, and to really just be consistent with the actions that you put in every single day to get toward your goals. And if you really do all of these things, then you will naturally become a more disciplined person, and that is something that will massively help you in trading. I had myself to do a lot of personal development to get to this point, but it was more than worth it, and it literally just changed my life because I was able then to get results, right? So if you lack discipline, that's a massive mistake. And if you don't work on yourself, you are literally wasting your potential. The next mistake that most people do is simply that they only focus and understand one market. But again, we need to come back on the point that I was talking about with the hedge fund, right? If you go to a hedge fund or investment bank, right? Do you really think that they only invest all their money on one market? Well, of course not, right? They will work on multiple different markets because they want to diversify their investments and they want to try to be as consistent as possible, right? If you have all your eggs in one basket, then essentially your trading will be very limited to what this specific market will do, and it's not really going to be optimal overall. So it's really important to understand more than one market. And what you also have to keep in mind is that at the end of the day, okay, all of the different markets that you can trade, they essentially all work together, okay? So they are kind of linked together, right? When we talk about, let's say, indices and commodities and currencies, okay? All of these markets have multiple different relationships, okay? And you will need to understand these different relationships in order to have a better fundamental idea for the markets and overall take better trades. So it's a massive mistake, I think, to only focus on one market. At the very beginning of your trading career, if you want to focus only on one market to, really just improve and better your understanding, it's totally fine, right? There's no problem when it comes to this. But at some point, once you get more experience and once you become better in trading, you will need to focus on more than one market, and it's going to massively help you get the results that you want. Now, the next mistake that most people do is that they do not understand their emotions. And that is a really big one. And notice the word that I've used, okay? Understand, right? Most people don't understand their emotions, and so what they try to do is to remove their emotions, right? I often see this, right? People are like, oh, you need to not have emotions in trading and you need to remove them and you need to act like a robot and stuff like that. And the problem of thinking like this is that it kind of tells to your brain that you think that you can remove your emotions. But let me break it down for you guys. You cannot remove your emotions. And the reason why is because we are humans and we are creatures of emotions, right? So you will always feel some kinds of emotions, right? And what I've realized throughout these last couple of years, and this is something that I've put a lot of emphasis on, that I've worked with our students inside of our coaching program, it's simply that you should not try to remove your emotions. Instead, what you should do is focus on understanding your emotions, what they're trying to tell you, and also just accept the fact that you have these emotions, okay? So instead of, for example, trying to not feel anything and act like a robot, right? If you have some kind of emotion, well, take a step back, try to understand the emotion in the first place, then try to understand what message this emotion is trying to tell you, and then just accept the fact that you have these emotions because you are a human being. And if you really do this, right, you will be able to just get much better at managing your own self, and this will help you manage your trading as well. And the 7th mistake that most people do is simply that they have too much ego and they try to learn everything by themselves, right? And the problem with doing this is not even that you could not find the right information, because if you do a lot of research and if you follow the right people on social media, right, you will eventually have access to the right information, okay? So that's not even the point. The point here is that if you try to learn everything by yourself, you will most likely make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to slow you down on the process, and it's simply going to cost you a lot more time, okay? What you guys have to understand is that when you want to learn something, you always have to pay, okay? But you will either pay with money or you will pay with your time, okay? So for example, if you decide to buy a coaching program or get yourself a mentor, and when I say this, right, I'm not just referring to myself, right? You can learn from anybody you want, right? You know, just figure out someone that has the same values as you and just go with them, right? It's up to you. But my point is that when you learn through a program, through different processes that are designed to help you become profitable faster, right? And where it's all built together, well, you will save a lot of time, okay? Whereas if you try to learn everything by yourself, as I said, you might at some point learn the same information and become profitable. But who knows? It might take you 1 year, 2 years, even 5 years, right? And so you need to ask yourself the question, right? What has more worth to me, right? Is it the little bit of money that I have that I could invest in a program, or is it 5 years of my life? Well, of course, to me, time is the most important asset, because once you have time, then you can just dedicate this time to achieving your goals. And it's a lot more important, because if you are able to save years of your life by learning from the right people, well, these years will be invested in your trading, where you will be profitable, and you will make back all of this money that you will have spent on different coaching programs, and you will just improve yourself a lot, right? And you will get there much faster as well than, you know, what you could do if you just do it on your own, all right? So to me, it's really, really important. I've myself, you know, invested a lot of money into different mentors and different programs and going to different events and stuff like that. And I've never regretted doing this, because it always has helped me just get to where I wanted to be much faster, and it was just easier overall in terms of the process. So this money was very well invested, and without my own mentors, I would not be where I'm at today. So it was honestly one of the best decisions of my life to just invest in myself and just try to better every single day with the right people. So guys, these are the 7 mistakes that I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope you learned a lot from it. If you did, you can share it around and you can leave a like on it as well. And on that, I will simply see you in my next video. So take care, trade with care, and as I said, I'll see you in my next video.